Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
It's 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Is there anything that is not on the agenda that you would like to add?
Yeah, you too.
Any public comment? Celia has something, but she's going to wait until later in the evening. Minutes of the September 14th, 2020 meeting. I'll entertain a motion to accept them.
Before you do that, there is one correction to be made to those minutes.
Well, first we need a motion.
I move that we accept the minutes of September 14th, 2020.
There's a
Second.
Any additions or corrections?
Okay. Yes, there's a correction. The address for the Rockingham website is incorrect in the minutes. It should be Rockingham VT, not Rockingham BF. That was pointed out to me by Peter Bergstrom.
Oh, I thought I was the one. Well, maybe
So
I
I
did too.
made that correction, and that'll be in the final version.
Okay. All those in favor of the amended meeting minutes, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. So, you all know, well, let's do the warrants and bills. I have one more bill to add to the list there. It's from Allen Pool and Spa, Allen Engineering for $317.64 for chemicals for the wastewater plant. So if you are happy to let us add that, we'll entertain a motion to approve the warrant as stated, plus the $317.64.
And who was that additional bill from?
Allen Engineering, they do.
Okay.
Recognize that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Did somebody move?
I move we accept the warrant with the addition of the bill from Allen Engineering for a total of $6,957.04.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, great. All right. Chat with the chief. Chief, do you know everybody? Do you know Amy?
I don't think we've met
know Amy. I don't think we've ever met yet.
Yep. I'm in Dick Long's old house, corner
Okay.
of Clark Court and Westminster Street.
Yeah, just down the road from me.
Yep, I've lived in Saxtons River for about 6 years. Came here from Chester, and before that, Grafton.
Oh,
But I'm very happy on Clark Court.
it's a nice quiet place, isn't it?
It's great. Yeah, a lot of retired teacher neighbors. It's
Yeah.
very nice.
Your neighbor has a birthday today, Mary Lou.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh,
Yeah. So, Art, who is with you? You're going to introduce your guest?
oh, this is my granddaughter, Margaret. We call her Maggie.
Maggie.
Hi,
Hi,
Maggie.
Maggie.
Arthur was here momentarily, but I think he's retired to his room like they're
Oh.
supposed to.
Oh,
And Enda is in the shower at the moment.
are they doing Zoom classes or?
They're
Hybrid?
doing Google, what is it? Google what?
Google Classroom.
Google
Oh.
Classroom.
Okay, good. Well, you guys are pretty brave and courageous and stick to it.
Yeah,
Worth
they're up on it.
Yeah, it's tough. I know. So we just invited you here, Art, to tell us what's going on. We don't feel like we're always supporting you, or we're supporting you, but not. It's not obvious, maybe. So we just like to hear from you about your concerns or good things, bad things, whatever.
There's not a lot going on right now because of this whole COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, our meetings are short and sweet. Right now, the West River Training Group is on hiatus until this clears up, so we don't spread it throughout the region. No, Arthur. So
It's just a cool card that I have.
someone
Okay, Arthur. Hi, Arthur.
collects Pokemon cards.
I do too.
You're poking your Pokemon in, huh?
Yeah. So anyways, that being said, we've been plugging along. You know, a lot of people aren't showing up to calls, rescue calls, especially because of this pandemic. They're just scared to.
Oh,
And there's, we have the matter of the fire station. I mean, it's literally starting to fall down around us.
mm-hmm,
And people are we've been
Mhm.
kicking this down the road since the mid '80s, and
mm-hmm,
nothing is happening, and they're just getting
Mhm.
sick of it, and they're
Right.
migrating to other departments.
right. So, when you say you're doing a training with the Bells Falls people?
We
Department?
haven't lately, no.
Wasn't there some talk about one that was happening? I don't know. Oh, you have an MOU.
Yeah, and I don't know that ever got put through yet, exactly what that was about.
Well, you would have to approve it. I don't think it's a trustees, right?
The last I heard of it, it was going to the select board's meeting,
Oh, okay.
and they were basically looking to force the departments to train together or
Uh-huh.
withhold funds.
Oh. Ben, you have a question?
I have a question for Chief Smith. You made a comment just a minute ago about the members getting frustrated and something about other departments. What was that?
Yeah, they're
didn't
just
quite
getting
catch that.
frustrated. We're recruiting members and getting them to come in here and stuff, and we're getting them trained, to a firefighter level, and they're just saying, well, we got this old station and nothing's happening with it, and we're just going to go somewhere else where they have a better facility and stuff to work with.
So when we have the new fire station, that will help you with recruitment and
Oh, that would definitely be a big
Yeah.
one.
yeah, definitely.
How many members does the department have now?
I couldn't tell you offhand, but I think it's around 18. There's probably 6 certified firefighters, and the rest of them are firefighter at different levels. Not a fully certified firefighter.
Okay.
I had a question for the chief. Off the top of your head, do you happen to know the numbers of calls between the 3 fire station departments, Bells Falls, Rocky, Saxtons?
Oh, I wouldn't know. I know ours is down significantly this year. I'm assuming because everybody's home and taking care of business instead of leaving with a pot on the stove or candles burning.
Putting too much wood in the wood stove.
Yeah. Rescue calls, I think, are up. Fire calls are down. And of course, accidents were very minimal this year because everyone was off the road. We haven't got any really bad weather yet. I assume that's going to come along eventually. So we haven't had a lot of weather-related emergencies. Calls are down definitely this year.
Wow. Okay.
I've been hearing concerns that our emergency plan, the Rockingham area emergency plan, doesn't have anything in it about wildfires. And just watching what's happening in the rest of the country, wondering if that's a big oversight. Do you have an opinion on that?
Not great, other than we're expecting it. Especially, this year has been extremely dry.
Yeah.
We've been under a burn ban for several weeks. We're looking forward to the rain that's coming.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are. That has been a concern of mine right along, but the state, New England in general, is not geared to that. We have never ever seen the level of fire that they see out west. But that's something that really is going to have to start at the state level and come down through. And they're going to have to start preparing for it and tell us what they need and what we should be doing. We've never faced that situation before.
Yeah.
We have fires, but usually our forests are green enough so So we can stop it eventually within a few days or something. It never mushrooms like it does out west.
Well, that's good to hear. And I know local history is all about floods, not fire.
Correct.
But it certainly made me think, seeing the climate predictions and watching what's been happening. So
Yeah.
it's good to have your opinion, and good to hear that we have to look to the state to respond appropriately on a local level.
There was a wildfire, not a wildfire, it was a campfire that went amok in Chester, right?
Yep.
Started burning up the hill just
I
last
hadn't
week.
heard that one. When was
Yeah.
this?
Just this past week.
Oh, past week? No.
Somebody had a campfire in their backyard or something and it got out of control.
No, I don't run with my pager on monitor, so
Yeah.
I know what everybody else's business is.
Yeah.
When they call me, I go.
I think I read it in the paper.
Art, I had a question. I'm just curious, being a volunteer department and people having jobs and so forth, if you get a call in the middle of the day, about how many people are available to respond?
Well, initially there's about 3. And then depending on the nature of the call, as it escalates, more people go. But we're essentially a bedroom community. There's not really too many major employers here.
Yeah.
So you're waiting for people to come back from out of town, Rockingham, Bellows Falls, Westminster, as far away as Brattleboro area, Springfield. That's, where the employers are, and that's where the time it's going to take for people to get here. That's
So
why
do
we
you-
rely heavily on mutual aid. Everybody does this
Oh.
time. In the nighttime, it's a different story. We're pretty
Yeah.
well staffed. There's usually 5 of us rolling out
Mhm.
within a few minutes. But during the day, when everybody's at work, it's going to take time to get back here.
Is that true of the rescue squad as well?
That is absolutely true of rescue squad.
Do you go to all those calls that the rescue, does everybody go? Fire and rescue?
Mainly
Fire
just
squad?
the first responders.
They go.
Not all the firefighters are certified as first responders.
So when it says medical, it's mostly them, the fast squad who goes.
Right, that's
Yeah.
correct. A lot of us are on both, so we do go, but not everybody is.
Is it still true that in Bells Falls, when there's a call, everybody goes? They might have a hook and ladder at a heart attack or something?
As far as medical calls,
Yeah.
no, nobody goes. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure of the date, but it was at least a year ago, Dallas Falls Fire Department quit responding to medical calls.
Oh,
The only time they respond is when Golden Cross is unavailable and they're the nearest medical provider.
okay.
And then they're calling in a mutual aid ambulance.
Okay. So what else can we do for you besides build a fire station?
that would be nice.
Uh,
There are grants out there. I physically don't have the time or the knowledge to write them. We do need gear, SCBA, turnout gear. We need to start replacing that. The turnout gear we're operating with now is the gear that we got from the last grant that I think was orchestrated somewhat through the town and
So
administered through the village.
is that part of the applications for grants that, what's his name?
Gary Fox?
No. The fire
Sean
station.
was starting,
Who?
Chief McGinnis. And
Yeah,
Bells
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm unaware of the number that he was asking for. I think it was Sam's or something. He never contacted me directly and said, hey,
Oh.
we need this number.
Well, I guess we need to contact him or the town and find out what happened with those.
Yeah. If they're going to write it townwide, that would be great.
Yeah, I thought that was the plan. Ben?
So Art, you mentioned that there are some grants out there that the fire station or the fire department might be able to take advantage of. Is that something that you could just jot down the things that you're looking for in the grants, and maybe we could, as trustees, find some resources or some people within the community that would be willing to help out with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say a list of what you're looking for equipment, probably starting from the top as far as what's most important and working your way down from there. But if we had that list of it, and even, something that's a year or two down the road, but it would be good. We don't know anything about it. We don't see it like you do. But if we have it on a piece of paper, we can, like Ben said, hopefully find somebody to write grants.
And the other thing I just wanted to add is that on behalf of the community in Saxtons River, and in particular the trustees, we so much appreciate the volunteer work that the fire department and the fast squad do, to contribute to our community. It's such a valuable service that you all provide, and I'd like you to convey that to your folks at your next meeting, please.
I certainly will. Thank you.
Yes. Is there anything else?
Is there anything that we might do to help you with recruiting people? I'm just thinking that seems to be a pretty pressing need.
That is a pressing need, and it always is. I don't know that there's anything out there right now. I think people are really scared to death to volunteer.
Yeah.
They're afraid of what the consequences could be.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely need to get through this and then start working on other major issues.
Sounds like there are some new younger people moving into the village who might be recruited in some way.
And that would be great.
Yeah.
I know Nick has put up another ad at the website, I believe.
I saw that. Yeah.
We're always looking for recruits, but we are. We need people to do everything. And we had at one point, I thought we had a driver here from Florida. You probably know who I'm talking about. Just
John, yeah.
Relocated there, and this pandemic hit, and he's done. He's gone. He doesn't want to be close to anything. He's in retirement, and he wants to be happily retired.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But a driver is huge for us. It's somebody that can take and run and operate the apparatus where the rest of us do the actual fireground work. So, anything like that, people think, I just don't want to be a gopher, but we need gophers. We need people to go get the equipment that, when we get in there and find out what we need, if it's more than what we took in with us, because generally we just take in hand tools. And then it escalates from there depending on what it is. The more help, the merrier. It makes it easier.
For sure. Well, we've been trying to raise a little money by making masks and. How's your hose business? How's your hose supply?
The hose so far is okay.
Okay.
We do need to start replacing some more. We took an unofficial inventory the other day to see what we need, and we do have some of the 2.5 inch that we need to start replacing.
Well, give us a list of those things that you need, the things we could apply for grants for, and anything else like that. Just let us know.
I will be doing that.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
All righty.
Thank you.
It's good talking to you. It's good to see everybody.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, take care. Be safe.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Okay, what's on the agenda? Sewer fee appeal, 19 Westminster Street. You all received the email?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it would be appropriate for me to recuse myself from discussing this matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So have that in the minutes, please.
Okay.
So recorded.
It sounds like this property is not habitable at the moment either.
That would be my observation.
Yeah, mine too.
So I
I
don't
looked in the
think
front door over the weekend, and I would agree.
so. I don't think there's really, even though it's our, you have to have something to hook up to. You can't force somebody to hook up to something that isn't there. So I would entertain a motion that we excuse this property from paying the sewer fee And we can discuss it after we get a second.
I move that we waive the sewer fee for 2021 for 19 Westminster Street.
I'll
Okay,
second that motion.
okay. Discussion.
So I guess I'm not in that camp. And let me explain why. I don't remember ever having a situation with a residential property that wasn't using the sewer hookup. But we definitely have an example of a commercial account that's not using the sewer connection, but is still paying the fee for being connected, and that's the old Tenny's building, the lower portion of the Tenny's building, which is currently not being used. Is, I think, arguably non-inhabitable. But continues to pay the fee because they're connected. So I don't know of any property that's connected to the wastewater system that's not paying a minimum of at least one resident, the equivalent of one residential fee. I can't think of any. Regardless of whether it's being used or not, or if the property is vacant or not, or if the commercial entity is being used. So in my opinion, this would be setting a new precedent that we've not gone in the past. So I'm opposed to waiving the fee on this property that's connected to the sewer system.
What constitutes being connected? Because there's no internal plumbing connected to anything. There is a line to the house, I presume, but
yeah, if there's a line, right, to answer that question, what would constitute being connected is if the property has a line to the sewer system.
Okay.
So I have a question about the history of property I'm thinking of. As you head up Grove Street, just past Mike Gia's house, there's a road to the left, and there's a little property down there that's just been renovated and sold. It was, as far as I could tell, not abandoned, but certainly uninhabitable.
Yep.
So that property, which I think might have been a foreclosure, that property continued to be charged the sewer fee,
Yes.
as far as you know?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the same situation for me. I mean, I'm eager to hear if there are other exceptions. But if we have a standard practice, my thought would be we should continue it. It seems to me that we already know that we do not charge based on usage. So it's not a case of looking at the meter, so to speak.
Right.
We charge based on the fact that the properties exist.
The sewer ordinance says that anyone who is within X number of feet of the sewer line must hook up. So there's no question that they have to hook up to the line. What happens between when the pipe gets to the house is a different story. That's up to them, right? Is that your contention, Ben?
I guess my contention is I guess just based on applying consistently, the same criteria for everybody equally, and the practice, as long as I've been a trustee, has been to charge at least a minimum fee if the property is connected to the sewer system, and that's regardless of the the usage of the property. So Amy, you bring up a good point. I'd forgotten about that property, even though it's my next door neighbor. But yeah, that property was abandoned for a long number of years and was being charged the fee all that time.
Any other comments?
So Louise, is it appropriate or out of line to ask Matt Brennan, who also has some history with this town, whether he has any comments on the history of properties? I'm not asking particularly for comments on this individual case, but just feeling the lack as a new board member, and wondering if he has information. He's also a builder, which might be a valuable perspective. So I'm asking you for a ruling on whether that's inappropriate.
I don't think it's inappropriate if he's not arguing one way or the other.
So Matt, I'm curious whether you have a point of view on the merits of the case.
Well, yeah, it has been it puts me in a strange situation, but that has been the case, as Ben stated, just as the Sandry property was charged one hookup fee for the many years that we tried to get that property. So
is that the old gas station?
Yeah, yeah, and yes, the fact that the line is run from the main sewer line to the basement of the house constitutes a hookup. Whether there's running water there or plumbing or not, it's on site, so it does kind of constitute that there is a hookup. It's not being used and hasn't been used, but
yep.
Any further comments?
Could I have the motion read again?
The motion was to waive the 2020-2021 sewer fee for the property at 19 Westminster Street.
Okay.
I'll call the question. All those if you vote yes, you'll waive the fee. If you vote no, you won't waive the fee. All those in favor of waiving the fee say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Nay?
No.
Nay.
Nay. Okay. 3-1. Sorry.
So the motion goes down.
Right. Okay.
Learning a lot about sewer fees.
Oh, gosh, yes. Okay, procurement policy review. Woohoo! Okay. So, Ben, basically what you did was took the whole thing and synthesized it down a lot, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Because I see some of the stuff is what was on the original. All the 1 to...
Yeah. So, well, let me know when you want me to speak about that.
All right, go ahead.
So yeah, I took the document that Alex had put together as a great starting point, but he had indicated that he expected there was a fair amount of stuff that could get cut out to simplify the document, and there was some reference to some federal regulations pertaining to procurement practice for spending money from federal grants. And that was really the impetus for having the procedure. So I looked up some of those regulations. I don't know if all of the federal regulations that I've cited and which were cited in the document that Alex prepared. I don't know if that's the complete set of federal regulations, but there was quite a bit there. Most of it had been covered in the document that Alex provided. But one change that I did make was to try to make clear the portions of the procurement procedure that pertained to complying with the federal regulations versus portions of the procedure that we would want to exercise on a regular routine basis as a village anyway for any procurements. So that I tried to lay it out so that it was clear, what we were imposing upon ourselves per se, and then the regulations that were needed to comply with federal grants in the situations where we were spending grant money. So that's just a little context.
But in the first part, you don't mention, as Alex had, local and state grants too. Did you purposely leave that out?
I purposely left that out because I didn't have any information about the state or local grant requirements. So that's why I left that out.
Well, it says that you could say any expenditures of local, state, or federal grant funds are made in compliance with applicable regulations, whether they're federal or state.
That's probably a good change.
Because we certainly do want to use this for any kind of state grants we ask for. They probably have the same kind of requirements.
Sure.
Anybody else have any comments?
So I didn't do a line by line comparison, but Ben, it seemed to me that you used the phrase micro purchases without saying what they were. In Alex's, and maybe I missed it, but in Alex's, it spelled out that those are purchases below a certain threshold. Did I miss that? It seemed to me that
That's spelled out in the CFR section that Ben references.
Right. I took that out because that was just a restatement of the federal regulation, and I thought it was best that we not restate the federal regulations in our procurement policy, because those federal requirements could change from time to time. And I didn't want to create a situation where we needed to somehow maintain our document every time there was a federal change.
that makes sense.
So that, that's their term. They define that term. And I believe the section where you see that term used is under the federal procurement policy section. So that, yes, I left that out intentionally.
Well, but you put in, didn't you asterisk and put in micro purchases?
Does not apply when using micro. What does that asterisk refer to? All the asterisks above it?
I think the asterisk in that section, that was something I just copied directly out of what Alex had provided, and I think it comes directly out of the that part comes directly out of the federal regulations.
Yeah, that's directly cut and pasted from the federal regulations.
Yeah.
So I see.
I think that it might be okay just to remove that micro asterisk from there, because we're not quoting what the different methods are. We're just referring back to the CFR. So I think we could just delete that reference to the micro procurements.
Well, I think we have to do one or the other. Either we don't refer to micro purchasing and we let the fact that we're referring to federal regulations cover that, or we refer to micro purchasing and we give the breakdown that Alex recommended in his version, where micro purchases are $3,500 and less, and there are thresholds given.
There is, on the front page, it does say exceptions. Expenditures less than $3,000 do not require competitive proposals.
But Louise, that section is everything other than what's in the section headed federal procurement policy are things that we'd be expected to do anytime
Anyway,
we make a
okay.
purchase.
Yeah, okay.
But what's under the federal procurement
Ah.
policy section is additional requirements for expending federal grant.
Okay.
So yeah, if you think that asterisk or reference should be removed, we should remove it.
It's just confusing to me. I don't know why you'd stick it in there. You know, it kind of stands
Yeah,
up.
it was literally, cut and pasted from the federal requirement, but you don't have all the other verbiage in there to put it in context. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, the only risk I think with that is that if we take that asterisk out, then, potentially we're saying that we're going to comply with that, even if the method of procurement we chose is the micromanagement or micro purchase method. So you might be, that's why I left it the way that it's worded in the federal regulation.
Well, suppose we were to say, are there solicitation method, or that aspect refers to just a method appropriate to the method of procurement? Because invitations apply to some but not all of the methods. Advertisements apply to some but not all of the methods. We just refer back to that, then I think your objection's covered.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
So I had a thought as I was going through this, and that when we're doing a major project, like the sewer plant or even like the park, we've had a consulting engineer or some other professional actually run the project for us. And a lot of the procurement funnels through that professional. I wondered if we should say something about that we would engage the services of qualified experts for big projects, or if that's not necessary.
Well, I think in that case, that's your procurement decision. That's how you're.
You would procure that
Okay.
person
Yeah, you've engaged that party at that point,
with a contract.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be cautious about adding anything over and above what is already being imposed upon us for these federal grants. It's already plenty.
Yes. Keep it simple. Any more discussion? Are you ready to vote on this? And I assume you would like to do the draft. I mean, the Ben draft.
So why don't I take a stab at a motion?
Okay.
I move we approve the procurement policy as drafted by Ben Wallace, with the exception of the asterisk and phrase dealing with micro purchasing.
Second.
So the only, I guess, comment I'd have on that is that I have not had a chance. I sent this to Alex when I copied you all on it, but I haven't heard anything back from him, and I don't know if it would be good to get input from him before we adopt this, or also get input from the gentleman, I can't remember his name, but from the auditor's office that we spoke with at our last meeting.
Sounds sensible.
So that would be my only thought is maybe, I don't want to delay the process, but it might be good to get input from the two of them first.
Would you like to amend the motion to say pending input from Alex and the guy from Smith? What's his name?
Josh is what I'm remembering.
Yeah, there you go.
Josh.
Is there a problem with having the waiting to approve after October 1st? It seems to me we're working towards that deadline.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't think we're
I don't
under
think
our
so.
deadline for October 1st. We were just hoping to get it done because that was part of the our response to the findings.
We just had to tell them we were working on it.
Yeah.
Right.
And they got that.
Done.
Yeah, all right.
Um,
So,
So either way, we could do it pending, and then if those guys don't have any comments, it's adopted. And if they do have comments, we'll discuss it again, or we can just wait until we get comments from them and talk about it at our next meeting.
all right. So, do we have to amend the motion to add that?
Yes. If you'll accept a friendly amendment, I would just add to what we've already said, pending the approval
Not
of,
approval, not approval. They can't approve it. The
pending,
input.
Pending comments.
Yeah.
pending comments from, do we know their names? Alex and Josh?
Alex Barrett, our treasurer, and Josh. Oh, well, Carl can look it up, right?
I can look it up, yeah.
Carl from RHH Smith.
Josh Quinn.
Quinn, okay, Josh Quinn, we got it. All right, is there did someone second that motion, that
I'll second.
amendment? Okay, all in favor of the amendment, or do we just do the amended motion?
Aye.
Whatever. Aye, okay. So then we have to vote on the amendment, the original motion?
The amended motion.
The I thought we just did.
No, we voted on the amendment. Now we have to vote on the amended motion.
Okay, all in favor of the amended motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Okay, so I'll send that with that one change to both Alex and Josh and let you guys know what they say.
All right.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Thank you. T-Ben, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of work, trying to understand that and going
Yeah.
over it and making it crisp and clear.
well, we've kind of lived it for the last couple of projects we've done. We've learned a lot about that kind of thing. Okay, next item is the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. Is there any report on that?
No, nothing else.
Okay, fire station building. Celia is on. You have some?
No, go ahead.
Celia is on the line. She has something she wants to say. You want to? Did you want to say something first, Matt? Or
Nope.
okay,
Oops.
Celia.
Okay, here I am sideways. Tell you that I just have one thought about this project. It seems to me that as the
Has the what?
Here,
project
Can't
was
hear you.
developing,
there we go. I'm aligning myself with Celia.
She's the other way though.
What?
Go ahead.
all right,
Go ahead,
anyway.
Celia.
The suggestion was made that the antique fire truck would be moved to the wastewater treatment plant to increase space in the building to be rebuilt. And it seems to me, and I've talked
We're losing you. You're kind of
Go ahead.
in and out.
that doing that now would not hurt. To go ahead and move the antique fire truck, build someplace for it down at the wastewater treatment plant as a very small step toward the fire station project. I don't know the COVID complications of that, but it seems to me that just as with the face mask raising money at the market, any small step toward progress is progress. So that was how I came to this meeting. And I would also like to say that I'm very impressed with your work at this meeting. I'm so glad I resigned so that Amy could come on. And I'm really, really pleased with the work that the trustees are doing. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
What does it take to make that happen? We have to put a building at the wastewater treatment plant?
Yeah, I'm in the, when's our next meeting?
I don't know.
Eight.
I guess. Well, that's a Columbus Day.
Okay, so after Columbus,
Yeah.
So at our next meeting, I will present 2 items. One would be cost proposal for a building down at the wastewater treatment facility, and an update of what, hopefully a path forward with the fire station as far as the construction and whatnot. So I'm working on both of those and would like to be able to present something at the next meeting.
Good. So that would be the 21st, I think it is. Let's see.
21st of October?
October
Are we not
19th.
going to meet-
19th.
Are we not going to meet the first week in October then?
Well, which is next week.
Well, it seems that, it just seemed to me that at some point, maybe we should get back on our regular
Yeah.
first Monday, third Monday schedule.
I would really appreciate that. It's much easier for me. I know it's not all about me, but having
Okay.
2 meetings a month, it seems to me we have plenty of business to discuss for 2 meetings, and having it routine means that I can work everything else around it.
Okay.
Having to change and schedule it in. I mean, I understand Mondays are always risky as far as holidays go, but
Well, we would be on either side of the holiday if we met on the 5th and the 19th.
Yep.
But if you don't think you're going to be ready by the 5th, Matt, then we could do it on the 19th. Do your part. Make your presentation on the 19th.
Yeah, can you check in with me at the end of the week? I should be able to.
what if we just do the 5th and the 19th, and if we have a very brief meeting on the 5th, that's fine. We're not going to meet on the 14th anyway, and this way
Okay.
we get 2 meetings in for the month and we've reestablished our normal pattern.
Well, I certainly the 5th I would have one of the proposals ready, and then might be the 19th for the second one.
I have an idea. If we're going to do something with that antique truck, that there may be historic preservation funds that we could tap into.
Yeah, it should be refurbished or at some point, but I would agree with Celia that it needs to be moved, but we need a
Okay.
place to put it.
Okay.
Well, I'm in favor of meeting on the 5th and the 19th and going back to the 1st and 3rd as well. And Matt, if you've got a proposal, I'd encourage you to send that out to the trustees whenever you've got those,
Yep.
so we can have time to review them.
Yep, we'll do.
All right, thanks.
I got a new computer. I haven't figured out how to scan and
Right,
I get there, but it says my scanner's not plugged in, so
got
I'm
it.
fighting with that a little bit.
Okay.
Great. Is there any other business?
Yeah, I have something about the town website.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you read the daily briefings that come out of the town manager's office,
Yeah.
but one of those mentioned that they were in the process of finishing up a Saxtons River page. And so I asked Chuck about that, and he said that Leah Clark is drafting something along the lines of what they have for Bellows Falls, I presume, and that she will forward it to us when it's ready for comments. So,
And and I forgot about the logo.
that was my second thing, yeah.
Okay.
And they also would like a village logo to put. I'm not exactly sure where. But if anybody has any thoughts about logos,
Did you
Louise
get?
was working on some. Did you send those to everybody, Louise?
No, I didn't.
I thought I saw them. I
Yeah,
saw
you did. I said-
the church in a circular motif.
Yeah.
Historical Society.
Oh, that's the Historical
Yeah, we
Society?
can't call it a church.
Oh,
And a
well,
government-
it is a church building.
Well, no, it's not a church anymore. We have to be careful about that, church and state. But I only sent
We
that to
won't have to
Carl
be
and
careful about
Amy.
that for long.
But I could send it to the rest of you, and you can look and see if I just worked up some things, and It's basically a circle that says Saxons River, and it has the picture, and it says incorporated 1905. So I don't think it's something we have to spend a lot of time on.
Yeah. I wondered,
Unless somebody,
I went back
yeah,
to look at some of our 4th of July t-shirts because in my mind, that's another strong association with the village.
mhm,
And those t-shirts are magnificent.
yeah,
I mean, every one of those designs. So I'd be happy to talk to a couple of graphics people to see whether there are guidelines. So for example, I don't know, does it need to be black and white? Can it just be any scanned design? And I also don't know, maybe one of you does, whether those t-shirts are proprietary and the design still belongs to the artist.
no,
So
it
that we
doesn't.
wouldn't be able to take a piece of a design and use that for a logo. Those were thoughts that crossed my mind when I heard that we might need a logo for the village.
I
Can we say
would
something?
have to be careful. A logo generally can't be too complicated
Right.
because it's going to be reduced to a pretty small size and you lose detail. So a complicated picture generally, I don't think turns out as well.
Could
Can I
we
say something?
Could we, for our next meeting, see the what Bellows Falls and Rockingham has? We might want to align ourselves as far as style
Okay,
with something like that.
Could I say something?
yeah,
I'm wearing the t-shirt, get it into the picture. That's celebrate
Oh yeah,
with
that was a
the
good one.
with the fire station, I mean with the historical society and the 4th of July. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Get close enough to get it.
we can see the
Remember
top
this one?
we can see the top of it. We can't see the rest of it, but we know which one you mean.
Right. So that one is both the 4th of July and the historical society.
Mhm. Okay,
Just since I happen to do it. Thank you.
okay. Then we're going to look and see what they have for Bellows Falls and Rockingham, and
Yeah.
then go from there.
I'll put together something. How about that?
Okay.
And I can go onto the website and steal the logos that they're using there.
I'll
Yeah,
do
so-
that.
Send
I'll
them
do
out.
that.
Okay.
That can be my contribution, Carl. You were already doing the minutes and a lot of other things, so I'm happy to take that on. So I'll have a little set of screenshots to
Yeah.
show during the Zoom.
The artwork on the 4th of July shirts is not proprietary in any way.
They sign it over to us.
Oh, they don't do anything that formal, but. All right. Anything else? Wow. Okay. Not even 8 o'clock yet. We could catch the end of Jeopardy.
So do we need to do a formal motion on the next meeting date?
No.
Just we all know.
It's our regular time, first and third anyway. So
Okay, but that will be reflected in the minutes, Carl?
It will be reflected in the minutes, yes.
Okay, great.
okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Stay healthy.
All right.
Enjoy the warm
Long.
weather.
Thank you.
Bye.
So long. Thanks.